Hey everybody, welcome back. I hope you've been enjoying the episodes over the last few weeks. This week, I'm going to talk about a topic that I haven't covered in a while, and that's repurposing your content. Now, I know all of you are out there working really hard to make great shows. You're doing your research. You're trying to make everything entertaining and informative. And I know podcasts are long pieces of content, okay? They take a lot of time to create. You work really hard on them. And so I want to make sure that you get the most bang for your buck out of the effort that you're putting into your podcast. And I also know that everybody wants to market their podcast. They may have a personal brand. They may have a business. They may have a small business. They may be doing this for a corporation. And they need to get as much promotion and everything out of the content that they're creating. You know, you don't want to have to be thinking about writing blog posts here and creating podcast episodes here. And then I got to create this YouTube video next week. And then I got to go live later on. And then I've got to post to social media. It can be exhausting. So I want to talk today about the way that I repurpose my content and the way we also help our clients at Emerald City Productions repurpose our content in the smartest way possible. So, the first thing that you're going to do is when you get ready to record your podcast, you are going to live stream the recording, whether that's using StreamYard to go live to a bunch of different places or just going on Facebook and broadcasting live, or YouTube or LinkedIn or Instagram, like any of the sources. You want to live stream your recording because that's a live broadcast. There are people that are going to want to watch that. It allows you to take questions, etc., things that you can use to help create more content in a way. Then what you're going to do second is you're going to take the audio from that recording, and that's going to be your podcast episode. You're going to edit it down, but that's your podcast episode. So you've already gotten two major content channels covered. Live stream video, that if you do it on YouTube, it then becomes a video on YouTube, and also your podcast episode. Now, third, what you're going to do is you're going to transcribe your episode. If you're using a DAW like Descript, it'll do it for you. There are services out there like Otter.ai where you can transcribe the episode, because some people might want transcripts. You might want to use them for captioning, things like that. Okay, but you're also going to use them for a bunch of other things. And this is where the repurposing really ramps up. You can use your transcript to help you write the show notes for your podcast. Now, that is the thing that goes with the file when it's published. It goes in a lot of other places, but it gives people a synopsis. It gives people bullet points of what they're going to hear. It gives people resources and links and URLs that you may have mentioned in the podcast episode itself. And people appreciate that. You know, a lot of people that are listening to a podcast are listening while they're driving. They're listening while they're doing something else. So if you mention something, they want to be able to go back and check in the show notes. The other thing you can do then is maybe take your show notes, change them a little bit, and send them out to your email list as an email. You could send out a weekly email promoting your podcast. You put a link in your email for people to listen to your podcast, preferably on your website. And that's what comes next, is a website post. On your site, you take your show notes, do whatever you want, and put them on your website in something like the form of a blog, where all of your episodes are on the same page and people can click on them and they go to the page and they can listen to the episode on that page. They can read through the show notes. They can click on the links. Okay, you see where we're going with this. Now you're going to take that transcription and you are going to polish it a little bit, or hire a VA or a content writer to polish it into a blog post. Okay, remember, there are people that want to watch videos. There are people that want to listen to podcast episodes. There are people that want to read blog posts. There are all these different types of audiences. And if you can take your transcript, clean it up, and provide people a text version of your podcast episode that makes sense, that's more content on your site. And oh, by the way, it's also going to benefit the SEO on your site if you like add some headers and format those correctly, add some keywords to the link slug that goes on your website, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, and the other thing you can do is at the end of the blog post, you can link back to your podcast episode page so that if people want to listen to it, then they can listen to it there. Okay, it's all sort of circular. Now, that's the ways that you can really use that transcript. You've got show notes, email, website post, turn it into a blog. Now, let's go back to the episode file itself. So let's go all the way back to the video. If you're using something like Descript or many other editors, you can clip that video up. A minute long video, a minute and a half, I think you can do now. And you can turn that into a video for TikTok, for Instagram Reels. You can create a template where you can drop the video in, you can caption those things. And now you've got micro content for those social media channels that are very popular right now. Excuse me. Very popular and have lots of traction, really, and lots of engagement. So TikTok and Reels, just by clipping the video of your episode. And let's not forget about audiograms. So now we're like on the 9th way of repurposing this content. Audiograms still work in certain ways. Like they work really well in Instagram stories or Facebook stories. They work really well on LinkedIn, where you create an audiogram, the tried and true wavelength captioned. Here's a clip from our episode to promote the podcast. Now let's get even more fancy with video. We like using the tool Descript to create a 4 to 5 minute highlight video of the episode. So we throw it into Descript and we pull these clips of this great quote and then this minute that they talked about this and this minute, and put some transitions in and a title card, and voila, you now have a YouTube video that you could put on your YouTube channel that is not your 35-minute, 40-minute episode that might annoy people if they had to watch the whole thing on YouTube. But now they've got a nice highlight where they can learn something from the video on your YouTube channel. Okay, so that's 10 ways you can repurpose this one episode already. Now let's talk about a few more. We haven't even mentioned really social media yet, other than TikTok and Instagram Reels and audiograms. So you're going to go back to that transcript and you're going to pull quotes. Okay, you can create quote cards, social media graphics. You can just do some promotional posts. You can do teaching posts where you talk about that quote and you write something in the post. You've got all your social media from your transcript, basically. And finally, I think this is the 12th way now you can repurpose your episode. You've just taught a lot. You've probably shared a lot in that episode. Why not create a downloadable PDF that people can enter their email address to get? It grows your email list. It's something that will help them take the information that you shared in the podcast and take it with them in a way. So maybe that's a checklist. Maybe that's a template for something. Maybe that's just an executive summary or like a too long didn't read version of the episode itself, similar to the blog, where you tell people all the things from that podcast episode. So that was 12 ways. Live stream it. Use the audio from the video for your episode. Transcribe it. Create show notes. Create an email to send out. Create a post on your website. Create a blog article from the episode. Clip the video into TikToks and Instagram Reels. Clip the audio for audiograms. Make a highlight video for YouTube. Pull quotes from your transcript to use as social media posts and graphics. And then finally, create a downloadable PDF. So I've added a few things over the last few years, and some things have changed. Certain things perform better in social media now than others. Like your Instagram Reel is going to do better than your audiogram on Instagram as a post. But it all remains the same. You can take that long piece of content, your podcast episode, and turn it into something that can be repurposed 12 times and used in different ways and save you a lot of time, or be done by someone on your team, like an assistant, that can take your words, take your content, and craft it into these things without having to be the one actually creating the information for the content. So I hope that helps. If you have any questions, you can always email me, Danny@emeraldcitypro.com. You can record a voicemail if you have a question, speakpipe.com/podcast strategies. And I would love to hear from you. I would also love it if you could review this podcast, let people know why you like it. Give me some feedback. I love to hear from you. And I will talk to you again next week.